Alrighty, and we're into the Champ Select for Game 2 of RS Purple versus Sam Houston State University White. Game 2 of the series. Sam Houston up 1 game so far. Fantastic game from them in that last match. Standout performances from Zodiac and from Puppy Cat. As we're going to start seeing the bans come out. So a denial already of that Ari away from Puppy Cat. RSP decided that they want no further dealings with the Puppy Cat's Ari, and that's a fair reaction, especially with the way that it played. Double quadra kills in that game. No pentas, unfortunately. Not enough effort there put forth to get the penta. Just a denial. Every time it looked like it was going to get it, someone ran away. Is Jinx going to be denial there away from Curie, and then Jen, another denial away from Sam Houston. So banning some of these comfort picks on the side of Sam Houston by RSP. Definitely don't want Zodiac and Puppy Cat getting a hold of those champions like they did last time. Is there going to be the takeaway there? So respect bans, I think, shown by Sam Houston towards RSP, just making sure that those two hyperscaling bot laners and arguably the two strongest bot laners in the game right now don't get picked right off the bat, especially with RSP having first pick. Is Jarvan going to be the selection there? Tom Kinch chose him for Texas A. And you should see what they're going to try and pair with that. And the Aurelian Soul Hover right now. I do actually like this champion because of the mobility it has, and there's a lot of interesting options for this, but no, just going to go the Volley Bear instead. RSP, what do they want to answer with? They have pretty good engage right now with Jarvan. Could look to try and stack a little bit more. Could try to pick their bot lane right here on 2-3. They also could look to try and lock in their top and mid. Depends on what they value. Trying not to split the bot lane is generally the best course of action because you want to try and pick them together, but if you leave it late, you're going to lose out on some more ADC picks. So top lane going to come through there with the Shen. So that signals to me that they want to go ahead and lock in the mid laner here. Would be interesting if they chose to split it on picking the Lulu, because they would have to response pick on an ADC on 4-5. So Orion going to be the mid lane selection there from Sam Houston. So pretty good team fighting right now. That Tom Kinch could be a support pick, because this is something that Lyros has sort of off in terms of a role, and it offers them a lot of utility in terms of how they want to play the game, and a lot of ganking opportunities, and just CC alone with the protection that it provides. So I'm interested to see if that Tom Kinch actually is playing the top lane or if it's given down towards the mid lane. It is going to be that top side completely locked in for Sam Houston, unless that Tom Kinch does go into bot lane. The Lulu selection there, I think, a pretty safe pick, regardless of what the ADC pick is going to be for RSP, simply because of the utility that it provides. It's always the Jarvan hover here. Again, that Volley Bear could be the top lane, but no, it is going to be the ADC pick there. The response to the Caitlyn, so kind of one of the only ADCs left available after the Aphelios. So the Vex is going to be locked in there for RSP, rounding out that draft. As again, Sam Houston continues to not pick in the order that I asked them to every single time. All right, so draft for both of these teams. As we see the picks right there. So a lot of team fighting capability here for this RSP squad. When you look at the amount of just CC abilities that they have on this team, there's quite a bit. Now, it's not necessarily point and click with the exception of Jarvan. Ultimate, I mean, Vex is also going to have the ability to land long-range skill shots to get and engage. Then you're looking at Caitlyn traps and Lulu polymorph, things like that, and then the Wild Growth to keep people alive, but not necessarily a lot of reliable forms of engage beyond Shen dashing in and Jarvan landing the ultimate. So interested to see how RSP try and kick off their fights, because it does seem like it would be a little bit difficult for them to do so. It just feels like you kind of waiting on Jarvan to get these fights started off. Whereas on the Sam Houston side, it's going to be an easy execution draft for them. And if you're looking on how they start fights, Tom Kinch, Volley Bear, Orianna, that combo needs no introduction. Volley Bear, an absolutely standout jungler right now, just with the damage and with the CC that he provides. So kind of this nice all-in-one combo. Aphelios, 200 years, again, needs no introduction. As a champion, we're starting to see a lot more in pro play, especially when we see things like Jinx and Zeri banned out. Aphelios, this staple in the meta, along with Kai'Sa as well, but obviously the Kai'Sa not selected in this match. Not banned out by either team, but Sam Houston not deciding that they want to put any priority on that. And the Renata, again, pick up there too by Sam Houston. A fantastic pick for them in the last game. A lot of success that they had on that champion, just with Lyros landing that massive 5-man ulti. I think the play of the game in that one, to be fair. So Sam Houston, with the way that they want to play this comp, I mean, it's very, very straightforward. They can play front to back. They can play for side lanes. They can play the team fights. They can play objectives. It's a very well-rounded comp that has a lot of capability, a lot of damage, scales great into the late game, and very difficult to deal with in any kind of team fight. Whereas if you're looking at this RS Purple squad, you know, you're trying to give credit where credit's due, and the capabilities that they have. Vex obviously does a tremendous amount of damage, is a great mid lane mage, answers a lot of what they want to do in terms of engaging to deny it with fears and the ability to roam to set up ganks on these side lanes. And then, you know, the ultimate from Shin, providing some safety for some of the split members or to set up gank opportunities. You know, when he does hit level 6, that is one of the only 2 top laners that actually can affect the bot lane without having to have teleport. Stand United, and obviously Gangplank with Cannon Barrage. So interested to see how RSP tries to play around that. But if you're looking at the way that they want to play this, you have to look at it and be honest that it is going to be difficult for them to start fights on their own terms. It's just with the amount of CC that's conditional for them, you know, it's not going to last long, and it's not exactly a go button, with the exception of the Jarvan ulti. Good skirmishing, I think, good pick potential, but you know, you're not going to have the split push top laner like you would with something like a Renekton or a Darius or an Aatrox or anything like that. You're not going to have anything that's going to be building the hull breaker that, you know, you're going to have to force Sam Houston to respond with. So definitely the onus is on them to perform with that draft and the difficulty that they will have with that. Again, the expectations for this one, Sam Houston, again, I think winning the draft on this one, I think that's fairly safe to say, with just the champions that they have there. And, you know, their way forward is a lot easier because they know how to use this comp. And, you know, this comp is fairly synergistic with each other with the way that it sets up, especially with Volibear ulti on top of Renata ult on top of Orianna, giving the ball to Volibear, letting him jump in and landing that massive shockwave. So, again, it's going to be very difficult for RSP to find fights on their own terms if they do go down early, but interested to see what they manage to do with this comp. Alrighty, as we're on to the rift for Game 2 between Sam Houston State University White and Replay Stallions Purple. Game 2, Sam Houston up 1-0 in the series thus far, so now Replay Stallions, the onus is on them to try and get back in this series to make their way back into competition and to find a way to push this 2 silver scrapes. And again, draft execution going to be huge for them. The Sam Houston, they've drafted themselves quite a beefy comp with the members that they have available. As Lyro's stepping a little close right now. Ward's going to go down, is going to get rooted up and pushed back. This flag going to come down on top of him, but ultimately just a trade of some health bars and the glacial passive. Not much else other than that. You can already starting to see some of this pressure that Sam Houston wants to put down. Volibear, I think, definitely the better jungler, in my opinion, out of the 2 of these in the early game. You know, yes, Jarvan does have the capability to duel a little bit better maybe than Volibear in terms of the damage that he has with that Conqueror. But you definitely think that with gank setup, with Volibear, it's a pretty easy answer to what Jarvan wants to do. So Jaeger going to have his work cut out for him in this game. Just to see how that goes, as it is going to be a reverse start for both these jungler volley, with Dre Ganks deciding that he wants to go ahead and start on that top side, get that red buff, then make his way down towards the bot lane and look for possibly a bot lane play there. Shen walking up to the wave will spot that Texas A is not here immediately, so we'll see if he pings down towards that top side on whether or not the volley is there. So it does ping that the Tom Kinch is missing, that Texas A is missing. So that should be the signal to Jaeger that the split start was done on the other side. And that should mean that he'll have safety to find something towards this top lane. There's a little bit of poke coming out from the RSP bot lane. This is one advantage that you do have in terms of the draft, just in isolation with this RSP squad, is Lulu is a notoriously difficult champion to trade on just with the healing and with the poke that she provides. Difficult to win a fight against her, and is one of these staple champions that we've seen in play for a long time in terms of competitive. And is just a champion that provides a tremendous amount of utility and safety for some of your squisher ADCs, and that's going to be very, very important for Pyre once we get to some of these late-game teamfight situations and when we get to some of these even lane trading situations. So it is going to be up to Sam Houston to try and abuse the matchup where they can, if they can get Lulu low, or if they can try to find something on top of this Caitlyn, blow a couple of early summoner spells, and then get an advantage of this lane. But right now, the pressure going towards RSP, going to be able to shove this wave in ever so slowly. Zodiac trading back, though. Hook going to go wide there for Lyros. Not going to land that passive. Bublev just now taken by Jaeger, so going to try and finish off the rest of those top camps. Drakegank's a little behind in terms of the tempo. Is even on CS, but is only just now starting that blue buff. Whereas it is almost a full clear for Jarvan. Of course, the difference was the Krugs. So Jarvan going to clear out. See that there's no vision to go ahead and take up that Scuttle Crab. Not likely going to be able to get both, though, just with the timing. This Drakegank's going to finish off this blue buff here in just a couple of seconds. And with a shove going on in the mid lane, not likely going to be able to try and find his way over there towards that. As both of those mid laners level 4, but tempo in favor of Puppycat. And interested to see what Puppycat's going to try and do with this pick is he is going to miss that one. Not going to be able to grab the flag and drag on that one. Lyros looking for something, is going to flash forward and get the root. Ion Moon is ticking, is going to flash out but gets stunned anywhere. His first blood, Sam Houston Zodiac. Going to be the happy recipient of that one. And Loon just trying to find the absolute limit of where he could flash that one, but just not able to do so. The stun going through for Drakeganks, who managed to get on top of him, get it at the very last second. As money where my mouth is, Jaeger actually was able to get that second Scuttle Crab. In the air turn while that fight was going on, Electrocute going to go down for Puppycat. Was able to steal that one away. And now Pyre trying to get his way out of this one. Zodiac, though, is going to land the root. 200 years, and it's only 4 minutes into the game. Pyre forced to flash out of that one and would have died. And fantastic trade there from the Sam Houston bot laner. Yeah, this is not what you want to see if you're RSP, because Caitlyn's supposed to have, at least on paper, the early advantage, but with a kill already going down for him and Loon. Already having one death so far on this Lulu. It's a good sign for Sam Houston to go ahead and navigate some of the earlier parts of this matchup. Again, we talked about the scaling that they're waiting on. This is very much a late game team comp, but with the early execution, bringing in that volley bear to get the gank timing off. Good response and good effort for them to go ahead and get this game started off right. And smart play, too, because one of the biggest things that you want to try and do is undercut the Jarvan's tempo to make sure that he's not the first one to gank. So that way you have pressure in the lanes, so that way you can play for some of these neutral objectives. And Drakegank's absolutely spotting that out and makes that play happen. The sticking point right now, though, for RSP is it is only one kill, so it's nothing to write home about for Sam Houston. And you do have an advantage in this top lane. He's going to get potentially caught up. Drakegank's going to run in on this one. He's going to get the stun. At least land it, but it's not actually going to go off because now Texas is going to land his own stun. Eating a couple of turret shots is going to drop to where he's going to need that gray health. Massive minion wave stacking there, though, so going to be forced to respond to that and take it. Puppycat ticking over to level 6 now. So team fight starting to come online for Sam Houston early. That level 6 is going to mean a lot for them if they try to take another skirmish, especially around this dragon that has now come up. Pings on the mid lane, though, so they've identified that Washed is missing. Now, Jaeger is really low, and this is going to be an ultimate here on top of him, but Jaeger is still eating attacks from the dragon. It is going to be a taunt up there from Talk Show, and Lyros is going to drop in the end. Stand United coming out from Shin. Going to be enough to save him, and Jaeger, for a moment, they're looking like he might drop to Dragon. Puppycat, though, is going to land a shockwave, and now Jaeger at critical health is going to be shielded up temporarily. And that stops the Dragon play for now. Sam Houston, they give over one kill, but don't lose the Dragon. Fantastic response. And again, that almost mirrors the play that we saw sort of in the early game in the last game, where this RSP squad, they do find an advantage. They're trying to get something going, and they look towards an objective, but then Puppycat roams and either gets a couple kills or forces the health bar so low where they're not able to do it. And in the instance in that first game, is exactly what happened. Yes, RSP did get the Dragon in that play, but ultimately ended up giving up a couple kills. Now, they avoid doing so in that one, but again, the Sam Houston mid lane are making their presence felt in this one. And this here is going to be pivotal that those shockwaves land every time they're thrown, because if some of these members of this RSP squad do get free and do find access to the backline, it could be very sticky for Sam Houston. Puppycat just going to continue to shove this wave underneath turret. There's another wave coming behind it, too, so a lot of golden XP going to be lost in this mid lane by Wash. There's taunt coming out from Talk Show, just trying to land a little bit of damage on a Texas A, just trying to shove him off of the turret and buy a little bit of space. As the Herald is going to be coming up here in about 15 or so seconds. Dragon not taken by either team. Just to check in the itemization right now, it's completed boots for Texas A in that top lane, down just under 20 or so CS. Traded on the side of that Bomby Cinder in the top one. Sorry, I had to check the item. Iron Spike Whip for the Jarvan. Boots completed on the other side by Draganx. Is running that Predator, though, so is the item that he needs to become an effective jungler right now. And Sam Houston might decide that they want to start off the Dragon right now, though. It is getting pinged out, so they do spot Jarvan on a ward. Talk Show trying to run in on Texas A, see if he has the damage. It's going to knock the Sam Houston top laner below half, but obviously with great health. That is a little bit deceiving on exactly where the damage is going to actually take him. Sam Houston, Draganx trying to get into this brush to see if they could set something up. Ultimate not available for Lyros, though, so not going to be able to set that up yet. As Wash going to land the Electrocute down on a Puppy Cat and proc that rune. And again, little trades like this to try and keep pressure in the mid lane to keep Puppy Cat from being able to roam are going to be huge. Lyros trying to take over to 6 to get this fight started off. Draganx can't stay here forever. Jarvan also making his way down to this bot lane. So it depends on whether or not this fight gets started, because Jarvan not being seen. Okay, so that's Houston. He's going to get spotted out of the ward, so Sam Houston will know that Jaeger is there. But the reset from Draganx means that they won't be able to find any kind of fight. So instead going to have to back off right now. And with the reset from the mid lane as well, this should be the go button for RSP to go ahead and take that dragon. And Infernal going to be pretty good on them. Sam Houston, are they willing to let this one go? May not have an option as the clap starting to come down in that mid lane. Draganx may decide that he wants to get in there and try and take it, but this should be dropping, as it is going to. A little bit late to the fight, but what else can they get? Jaeger is going to fall to stand united from Shen. Puppy Cat able to get out. Now the ultimate coming down on top of that. Can they get out? Wash mid is going to try and get one, as he is ticking. Draganx going to fall. Puppy Cat just trying to run away. Not going to be able to, though. No, does. Texas A with the huge save right there is going to spit the Orianna out underneath the turret, and is going to instead pick up the kill on Washed mid. And now it's the re-engage for Sam Houston. They're here. The Bernardo ult on top of that. Lyros gets one. Zodiac gets another. And Sam Houston, they turn that fight on its head real quick. It looked like Puppy Cat was going to drop in the mid lane. It looked like RSP was going to get another one after getting the dragon and managing to knock down Draganx. But Sam Houston quick on the response there. They walk away with 3 kills and a bunch of gold, and now a small lead for them. And a healthy back for Zodiac. 2-0 so far in this game. 1-0 and 2. Puppy Cat stayed alive for so long. Texas A, I don't know where he came from, but came zooming out of that mid lane to save his mid laner. And a fantastic effort by Sam Houston. This is just so indicative of the way that Sam Houston plays, where just it feels like when you're about to get something, when you found a play that's about to go in your favor, Sam Houston somehow pulls something out of the hat and turns it on its head. And the result of that, too, is going to be a massive minion wave going down in this top lane away from Talk Show. So he's not going to lose a bunch of that money and a bunch of that experience. Texas A not losing too much in that one. Is down a significant amount of CS, though. So not anywhere close to completing that first item. Only has the boots to show for the effort thus far. 3 assists, but obviously the assist not going to give you a tremendous amount of gold. So is going to have to start kicking up in terms of the farm department to get where he needs to be level with Talk Show just in itemization. But I would argue right now that with the value that Tom Kitch is providing in these team fights, is Pyrie's going to check this. Lyros is going to land the root onto 2. Guardian coming out from the Lulu. So we're going to be down for the next couple of seconds. Pinging coming down in that topside river. Sam Houston, they don't want to give up the second objective that they can avoid it. They don't want to let the Herald go into the top lane and put more gold into the pockets of the Shen and let him become too tanky too quickly, simply because then you're not going to have a response to him on the side of the top lane. Jarvan looking here. Ultimate available. Texas A going to spit Shadow underneath the turret. Texas A still living for now. Ultimate going to come out from Jarvan. Shen trying to tank it. Is going to pick it up eventually, but Jaeger going to drop a 1-for-1 trade, about the best that Texas A could have hoped for. And Lyros going to land another root. Ultimate going to come out as he's going to go berserk, and Loon might be caught up here. Ultimate going to come out, but it's not enough. Zodiac going to pick that one up. A 1-for-2 trade in the end for Sam Houston, and now Pyrie going to have to find his way out of that. Chakram's flying in, knocking him down. He's going to have to back all the way off. His turret plate's going to start to drop in this bot lane. And with the turrets coming down too, exactly what Sam Houston needs to respond to that one. So just feels like there's no winning when it's trying to make a trade with the Sam Houston team. And Texas A surviving for as long as he did to make that a 1-for-1 trade was huge. His Talk Show just couldn't afford to take any more turret shots there, so Jaeger ended up taking some of that aggro that he didn't want to take and died in the end. And in the potential reset, too, Texas A trying to dive to reset the damage that Jaeger was trying to do to deny some of the autos, but just wasn't able to do it at the last second as it got caught up in the animation. But if he had got that off, he might have walked away with 2 kills. It's going to be the simultaneous reset there for the Sam Houston bot laner, and that's Gale Force plus boots completed for Zodiac, who is having a monstrous performance this series. 3-0 so far on that Aphelios, and that's exactly what Sam Houston needs. Again, it's a tale of them getting early game comps on very, very early. It's exactly what's happening right now as Dragangs feels empowered to just steal all of the farm here in this jungle. It's going to get spotted out right for it, though. Perry just going to hit a couple of auto attacks, cutting off that way out. Dragangs just going to walk around and be none the worse for wear. Dragon coming up in the next 50 seconds. The Dragangs could find something here. No, not going to land on top of him. As the ball goes over the wall, Puppycat trying to find something. Washed stepping up really, really far in this mid lane. Puppycat does have ultimate. Is going to land the shockwave. I tried to call it Cataclysm. It is a Cataclysm when it hits, but it hits the shockwave instead. And the solo kill going for the Sam Houston mid laner. 2-0-2. He's just going to continue to be a menace in this series. And Texas A landing the stun. Great health, though. The health total for this Tom Kinch is deceiving. Devour going to time out, though. He's going to get taunted up. And this 1v1 between 2 people that punch each other with shields. Still going to be fairly interesting, though. Talk Show does have the health advantage. Texas A going to land the stun. Teleport going to come out from the Orianna. Sam Houston going to start off the Dragon in the meantime, so it's a bait and switch sort of play where it's a, hey, look, top lane, draw the jungle up here. Meanwhile, we got the Dragon. Thank you for paying attention to the thing going in the top lane. Look not behind the curtain of what we're doing in bot lane is they're going to dive this. Dragangs trying to get in time right here. It's going to be the dash forward with the Gale Force. Moonlight Vision going to come out. Pyrie going to get ulted up by Loom. They get themselves out of that one. No dive yet coming out from Dragangs. Jaeger going to jump in on top of Texas A. The ultimate coming out. Puppycat, can he get out of this one? Trying to run for the hills. Flash out. No ultimate for either of those laners, but it should be enough to knock him down. 2 kills traded over. RSP trying to get themselves back in this game. Fantastic response there. And that gold going to go into the pockets of both the Jarvan and the Shin on that one. And the Herald going to be summoned up there too. So the turret's going to go down more than likely in that top lane. And meanwhile, mid also being shoved very, very heavily. So great response from RSP. Not willing to let this go down, and that evens up the gold lead to be less than 1,000. Sam Houston going to be trying to look for another play on this one as the second charge is going to go down on that turret. They're likely not going to get this one. Texas A going to jump in and get the double knock up on them. Dragangs is here. He's got the speed. He's got the need, and he's going to jump on top of him. Jaeger, he's going to drop as it's going to be the shutdown given over to Texas A. What else can they get? Are they going to let Talk Show walk out? It seems that the answer is yes. No, they're not, though, because Lyros looking for something here. It's 7-11, but he only needs to buy time. Talk Show trying to dash in. Is going to get stunned up, though. Dragangs going to land on this one. The blade going to come down and denies him the CC. Zodiac is here, though. It's a 3-on-1, and Talk Show just has no chance. Just going to drop in. The ultimate for good measure, just to style on him. Start's going to turn off, and Sam Houston, they respond. Putting that gold back into the pockets of the people it needs to go to. And yes, even though Texas A is down a significant amount of farm, those kills going to be sitting nice and pretty in his pocket. Going to shove that forward and look to put in a little bit more damage in this turret. Gold still dead even between these two teams, though, as 1v2 in this bot lane. Puppycat going to absorb this pressure and pick up some of that farm. For Sam Houston, even though the gold lead has more or less been evened up over the last couple of minutes, you're still very happy with the state of affairs, especially if you're looking at the itemization that you have across the board. Gale Force completed for your 80 carry. You have the Seraph's Embrace for Orianna, fantastic item. You've got your jungling item in for the Chemtech tank. So exactly where they need to be in this early game. As they start to transition to the mid lane too, with the kind of leads that they have in itemization, it's going to be very difficult for RSP to continue to navigate this, because what we talked about, even in that early game when we were looking at draft, was how carefully they needed to try and navigate these fights and how difficult it would be for them to just have this point-and-click go button. And so now Sam Houston, it's going to be up to them to continue to use this pressure and the advantages they have. Snowball them to a more meaningful lead. RSP You're looking for picks. You're looking for the opportunity to try and start team fights on your own terms. You need to be the one swinging first, because if you let Sam Houston set up, it's going to be very difficult to find your way in, especially against Aphelios when your ADC doesn't necessarily have any real items. You've got bargain bin boots right now with the crit boots, but you have no completed items. You've got components. It's very difficult to win any kind of fight where it's a long sort of damage fight where it's going to be dependent on you shelling it out. Caitlyn not going to be the answer to this Aphelios for some time right now, especially as they start to funnel more resources in. Dragongs wants to find something on Wash, should be able to get this. Stun's going to come out. Puppycat just there for good measure, and Dragongs going to pick that one up as well. First kill of the game. Just putting more and more pressure, knocking down some of these members. Libro's flash again. It's going to be the ulti on top of one. Flash out from Loon. No kills going down there yet, but most importantly, the flash off of that Lulu. No ultimate expended, though. But that means that the RSP support's going to be ripe for the picking if they do find a team fight. Jaeger just trying to deny this. Is going to pick up the red buff. Does have ultimate. Dragongs, see if he can survive this. His ultimate is going to come down. Pyre going to pick that one up. First kill of the game is now officially on board. That means that the jungler's going to be down for the next about 30 seconds, which means that this is the opportunity for RSP to make their way back into this game and to get a team fight of their choosing, because Dragongs is going to be out on the map slower and after Jaeger's going to be there. So RSP looking to try and set this one up. Does have a pushing bot with that they have to respond to, though. And teleport available for both of these top laners, though. So before this team fight starts, it's going to be important that they both stay healthy. And I guess the biggest question is are either of them going to even be able to teleport? Because these two are going to interfere with each other trying to teleport. You have to wander off to find a chance to teleport. Is for an unconscionable moment there. I thought Jaeger was maybe going to reset and back, but it's going to get spotted out of the ward there. Sam Houston, do they just want to try and straight towards this? This dragon is going to go down fairly fast. Is this going to be a repeat of what we saw earlier where they're just going to run in and try and get the kill? Dragongs has ultimate, has the ignite. Is not going to get there in time. Sam Houston, do they want to try and fight? Dragongs running in, has the Chemtech tank, and he's going to run in, stun onto one. No flash for Loon, so that means he's going to drop, and now it's one dead on the side of Sam Houston. Puppycat going to come over. What else can Sam Houston get? Talk Show has no more tankiness. He has no more way to win this, and RSP, they have to find a way out of here, but they can't. Sam Houston, they're not going to let him run. It's two for Zodiac right now. Sorry, another kill as he's 5-0 on that team. Texas A jumping over the wall. Can they find anything else? No. And Pyre just so late to the fight. Needs to find his way out of there. He's going to die. Low health members with Sam Houston, though. If he could get just one, might be able to trade for something. It is a dragon going their way, but it needs more than that. Not going to get spotted, though. 90 caliber nets over the wall. Sorry, no. May have flashed over the wall. As it is going to be ulti coming out from Puppycat. What can they get? No, it's just going to be a denial there. Shockwave, not enough. Dragon's trying to trade over there. Something, anything that they can get, as Dragon's going to grab one. Piri is going to die. And now two members of RSP stuck underneath this turret. No minion wave, though, for Sam Houston to play around right now, though. So are just going to knock that down. Texas A taking the long way around. Just being obnoxious, landing the tongue lashing onto Loon. And again, still eating some of these turret shots. Sam Houston so well navigated. Teleport coming in that top lane from Shen. Wants to try and knock down that turret. Going to be the full reset from Sam Houston. Talk Show shouldn't be able to knock this down, though, with a response from Sam Houston. Can any of these backs get stopped? Texas A is going to get stopped, but three members of Sam Houston do make it back to the base, so Shen going to get stopped. Texas A, will he die, though? Will he be the sacrificial lamb for this? He's running. He's got the great health. He's a speedy frog. Loon, can they get on top of him? Only needs one more slow, but no. Wait, he goes back in. Oh, no. Wait, why did he go back in? He's fleeing, trying to get away. Great health, but no. Puppycat's here. He's going to turn this around. Wash him in. He's been caught. He's been stunned. He's going to die. Puppycat going to pick that one up. Texas A, he's not willing to let that one go. He took that as an insult, and now Loon, he's got to get away, trying to see if he can survive one more tongue lash. Texas A is going to land one more blast cone. Will he get to safety shielding? Is going to manage to get over. Texas A does have the leap over if he wants to. No, not able to do it. And Loon with a sliver of health. Mission Impossible's his way out of it. Surviving where his mid laner did not. And always so precarious to chase in that jungle. It looked certain that Texas A was going to drop there, like he was going to be the sacrifice for Sam Houston to get those resets off, but instead decided not to die. Just looked at RSP and says, no, you. Turns around and washed mid, who did not have ultimate, did not have the ability to get out of that fight, said, no, wait, hold on. But by then, it was all bets off. Texas A just turning around and getting that one. And it's times like this that I had replay functionality, because you would just see the horror in that Vex's face as Tompkins just turns around. And I think everyone collectively confused when Texas A turned around there. But seeing him dash in, Pyre Gonna get tongue lashed up as well, slowed for the trouble of trying to auto the frog. And now Sam Houston, their way forward. They have a slight gold lead right now, about just under a 2K gold lead, actually. Sorry, under a 2K gold lead right now. They're down one dragon technically, but obviously tempo-wise, they're not going to be too worried about as Texas A trying to jump in on this one. 99 caliber net out. Shirelia's popped for Lyros. No dragon to fight for right now, though, so just using it to pressure out some of these laners. Just looking for opportunities. Is Jarvan going to reset there in that jungle? Sorry, in the river. Doesn't get spotted out, though. RSP know that these couple of laners here for Sam Houston are winding around in this river right now. So they should be able to use that information to just stay safe and continue to try and look to deny some of the vision that Sam Houston wants to set up on these objectives when they can push in. But they do have to be very careful about it, though, because the speed at which Sam Houston can collapse is frightening. Again, with Tom Kinch and with Volibear, especially having that Turbo Chemtech tank, it's very, very difficult for Sam Houston to be outmaneuvered and be out-rotated, especially with Lyros having Shirelia's. When that item is up and they hit the go button, they can collapse startlingly fast. So now Sam Houston, what do you want to do? Do you want to try and find a setup on an objective? That option is available for you in the next about 45 seconds. Dragon coming up. You could just look to take a team fight and pressure in the mid lane. You do have itemization that would allow you to take down some of those turrets and maybe just trade for another dragon. But obviously, if you gave up that dragon, you would be putting yourself at soul points. So likely Sam Houston just going to go ahead and set up as early as they can on this dragon, get vision down, and look to find a favorable team fight. They don't necessarily need the Tom Kinch to be here for this one. Just going to place wards in relative safety. As it is a split fight right now if something were to break out with RSP. Two members caught over there. Wash going to get caught out by a ward. Zodiac doing so much damage with the Aphelios. It's going to knock Wash just under half. As Texas A and Talk Show fighting in this top lane. Going to get stunned up. And Tom Kinch less and less afraid of this Shin. So this is going to be the switch. This is going to be the swap now for RSP. They're deciding that they want to try and make something happen at this top lane. Try and get this Baron. But Sam Houston know that this is going down. And this Baron not going down quickly. Sam Houston, they're going to try and get in here. They know that they can deny this. They can absolutely win a team fight if this breaks out right now. Sam Houston trying to find something. Find their way into here. They only need one engagement. He's going to run in. It's an ultimate on top of 4 from Dragex and Sam Houston. Now they're here. This is going to be the ulti on top of that from Lyros. What else can they get? Zodiac bashing forward. Is going to drop Jaeger. No, Dragex going to pick that one up. And it's another couple of stuns out for Sam Houston. Blast cone over. Dragex just taunting, holding, trying to find something washed. He can't trade. Zodiac's too strong. Sam Houston are in. And Texas A, he's running forward. He's going to get the slow. Loon, he's going to be the first one down out of those 3. Dragex holding on for now. He's going to get rooted up. But Texas A just running forward. Sam Houston, do they want to try and get more? No. They deny the Baron and get a couple of kills. And RSP got greedy and they got punished. Fantastic effort for Sam Houston. And they can even turn and get this if they wanted to. They're going to deny the ward. Heal up with a couple of fruit. Get the scuttle and they can take this if they wanted to. The timer's a little bit low, though, on the respawn for Jaeger. But you have Aphelios. Puppy Cat. Oh, no. He's going to get Cataclysm. Piri's going to drop. Puppy Cat saw him and took his life. And that's going to be eliminating any chance that RSP have to try and contest for this Baron. It doesn't matter how fast Jaeger runs. This is going to go down. Sam Houston, a fantastic team fight, gives them the objective. And it's going to be the 4-man reset there for Sam Houston. And now they have complete and utter control of this game. They have wrestled it back. It looked like RSP was going to try and make a trade, try and make a swap for it. But they were just not able to do any real amount of damage to that Baron before Sam Houston got there. And Draganx, once he pops that Turbo Chemtech and he runs in there, it's very difficult to stop him from engaging, and an impressive engage it was onto multiple members of that RSP squad, buying time for Zodiac to hit on the back line, buying time for his team to get position, and just no real threat ever shown there. As Texas A may be going down here. Jaeger has ultimate. Texas A, what can he get? It's going to swallow up the Shen. Multiple members pinging up. Lyros is here, and Texas A going to be fairly safe. And they're going to return the favor. Washmid going to get run down here. He's going to get stunned up. Draganx going to be autoing him down. Wash just trying to buy time, but not even able to buy a couple of extra seconds. As Texas A going to jump down in here. Talk Show going to get rooted up by Zodiac. And now it's the full court press here from Sam Houston. 3 members strong on this top side. Jaeger trying to jump in, trying to get on top of Lyros. Manages to find Zodiac. Zodiac, can he live? Is trading. Aphelios 200 years, though. And you go on top of him. You might find it's a little bit harder damage because the teleport coming out, though. Zodiac, though, is going to drop in the end. Jarvan going to pick that one up, though, but Pyre just too late. Killing spree for Puppycat, and now Sam Houston, you may have got the Aphelios, but you didn't get everybody else. Talk Show trying to run out, running for his life, but not able to escape. Texas Eye stunning him up, is going to get him in the end. Puppycat, no, going to be donated over to him. Puppycat gets another flash forward as payment for killing the ADC. Sam Houston, they don't care if you dive their ADC. Actually, they care a whole lot if you dive their ADC, but it doesn't matter because in the end, they're going to get the turret. They're going to kill. Lyros going to drop to the turret. It is just an execute, but was tanking the tower aggro there. That is unfortunate. You hate to see it. But Sam Houston going to make the most of this Baron right now. Going to shove this in to this top lane turret. Wash just not able to get anything done right now. Double cannon minions there. Draganx even on the bot lane. Just keeping the jungler fused right there. 2-level lead right now. Jaeger does not win this. That's going to be the Gorgeaker coming out very, very early. And Wash going to go into the stasis. And then he's going to go into Puppycat's kill spree. I thought maybe Texas was going to get that one, but no. Sam Houston Midler taking that one. Draganx trying to survive this one right now. Jaeger does have now the health lead. Conqueror proc. Draganx is going to get the stun. Ultimate on top of it. No, turns it around. You get the bear and you get the claws when you mess with the wrong bear. And none of that, what I just said made sense there, but it made sense to me. Bear, claws, you know what I'm talking about. And the Sam Houston jungler well and truly on fire. 6-2-6. Just domination right now from top to bottom for this Sam Houston squad. 24-7 is going to get the reset. And another dragon coming up in 45 seconds. And if you're RSP, what do you do to get back in this game? Because you can't take team fights into Sam Houston now. Your best bet is trying to pick somebody, but it's so difficult to do when the Sam Houston squad just refuses to separate any of their members. And they're going to be the first to pull the trigger here on getting this vision. So it's going to be very difficult for RSP to even find their way into this fight now or even into this area because there is just so little vision that they have on this objective. Lyra's going to clear out that one little ward that they had there. Sam Houston's to continue to deny these resources away from RSP. And Sam Houston just so dominant around their objective play right now. And Talk Show, even risking getting that close to those Sam Houston members, risks death. Draganx is going to spot out those wards there, so it's the only way in which Shin can teleport. 2 members on this top side, though. RSP just not in a position to even remotely contest this, so I think they are just conceding this is going to go down unless they want to have Jarvan try and flash in there to steal this. It would be a one-way trip, though, because Lyros is going to grab Jaeger over the wall and is going to pop the Shurelias. Now the members of Sam Houston, they're going fast. Draganx, need for speed, trying to get in. Double fear from Wash. What else can they get, though? Jarvan over the wall, flag, and drag to safety. No Baron to play with right now, but it is a dragon lead, and they do have 4 members strong, but no wave in the mid lane. So thankfully, RSP, they bought themselves a moment of respite having shoved out that wave. I mean, Sam Houston going to have to reset it and build it back up before they can push in. Texas A on that bot lane. And right now, it does feel like this RSP squad is a little bit on life support. It feels like one more good team fight going Sam Houston's way would spell the end for them. They are holding on to the majority of their base right now. Yes, that inhibitor will be down for a couple more minutes there, but if they can continue to stall, they might be able to find some advantages in these team fights. Waiting for a couple more items on Washed, on Piri. Trying to get this Caitlyn a little bit more threatening. It only has the Gale Force and the Collector right now. Is still very much behind the laning counterpart in Zodiac, who does have the Gale Force and the Infinity Edge. That Aphelios going to do so much damage in these team fights and has the right guns right now to fight. Red and white kids do not fight. If Aphelios has those guns, you don't want to be anywhere near him because 200 years becomes 2 seconds. Very, very quickly as this mid lane turret is going to drop. So that is the last of the tier 2 turrets that were remaining for this RSP squad. And they're going to have to find something here because Texas A is going to jump in. And Sam Houston, they want to try and put it into this right now as Luna is going to go berserk, is going to live for now. Draganx jumping on top. Both turrets turned off. Both turrets turned off. And Sam Houston, they're ready to turn off the lights in this one. Not able to get anybody else on it, though, but they only needed to get the 1 kill. It's going to be the second inhibitor dropping. Looking to transfer over to this bot lane. Texas A just going to eat up the turret shots for his team. Make sure that they get healthy. And Loon dropping below half just with 1 ability. Sam Houston, they're going to knock down the second one. Drops in the end. Zodiac gets him. Not willing to let that pesky Lulu walk away. And now this is the full court press from Sam Houston. This is going to be the 3rd inhibitor going down. And with 12 seconds left on Caitlyn, what else can they get? Can they find another team fight? Can they dive in? No ultimate yet for Draganx, but the damage is still there. Aphelios just able to shred these turrets. Jarvan trying to jump in. This is the last-ditch effort. This is all they've got. They must make this happen to try and survive it, but no, Sam Houston not willing to let it happen. Puppy Cat is legendary. Sam Houston, they're running away with the last little bit of damage that they need to win this game. Talk Show trying to jump in is going to get one. Zodiac falls. One turret left. No, it's gone. Sam Houston can't. What else can they get? Wash mid jumping in. Texas A swallowing up his mid laner. Sorry, swallowing up Texas A. And Puppy Cat trying to do damage. Talk Show. Too many minions. No, Sam Houston. It's the Winions on their side. And they left the Orianna to do the damage. It's Sam Houston. They're going to win 2-0. They're going to close out this series, and they're going to advance to 2-1 in the standings.